The most important one as a mother, silence. Just listen. No teaching, no preaching, just listen. And that is when the magic starts to happen.
Today I'm joined by Arina, mother of 3, founder of a jewellery brand,
Lulu Void,
and someone I've personally turned to time and time again. Behind her calm presence is a woman who's made brave choices, walked away from titles, and built her own version of success.
I found myself wondering if finance is truly what I wanted to do.
You could have any life you want, but you chose to be a mother, which is so beautiful. How did you choose that?
It is motherhood that shaped me and made me the person I am today. It taught me a lot about intuition. It taught me a lot about love and the importance of being present with your children. It was a point in time where I realized, well, this is my job. I am basically a manager and I'm running a corporation. Creates this incredible bond between you and your child. They believe in themselves, they grow up feeling confident, they have a home and parents they can trust, not just on the level of child and parent, but on a level of friendship, to have and be able to build this harmony based on love and respect. That is so important.
Welcome to Do Not Disturb, the inside story. I'm your host, Simona Devta. Something you'd never outsource.
I think if it's talking about my kids, I would say it's gifts. It's making them feel seen and making them feel special and choosing those right gifts for them. I couldn't outsource that.
I buy the same gifts for Samuel that you buy for your children, so I understand that. This year, Christmas was Nintendo Sport.
Yes,
you bought it. I was like, I'm buying
and
the same.
sports game. How good is that?
Amazing. Yeah,
Isn't
we
it
play
amazing?
All the time.
They
Yeah,
actually, it's a really good one. And golfing and tennis. And
fantastic.
You're welcome.
Most underrated parenting hack.
That's a tough one. So there are quite a few, but I think the most important one that came to me in recent years as a mother, and that would be silence. And the ability to sort of just listen, no teaching, no preaching, just listen. And that is when the magic starts to happen.
I'm not good at it. I really know it's my downside. But
I think it's that the whole topic of conscious parenting that needs time to really come to every mother. It doesn't just come to you immediately. It's something that takes years and you can't even sort of put a title on it. When did it happen? It just comes. And you feel that you're more connected, more present, and you really start to feel certain moments.
You need experience to be a mother. Yeah, nobody's born a mother.
Definitely.
Arina, welcome so much.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's amazing to see you, honestly. It's been 10 years since we last seen each other. And thanks to Instagram, actually, we were able to be in each other's lives. And it's just really amazing to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
Such an honor.
It's great to have you here. Everything I said, is true. And I've written to you on so many occasions. And I think it's very important to start just with a few words. Can you just introduce yourself to the audience who is listening?
Well, like you've just said, my name is Arina. I'm Russian, but I've never actually lived in Russia. I was born in Latvia, and then at a very young age, at the age of 12, I moved to England to go to a boarding school. So I went to a school called Millfield, and then followed by another school. It was a sixth form college. After that, just as you mentioned, I went to Queen Mary and I studied business management. I also graduated from London School of Economics in comparative politics. And then I found myself wondering if finance is truly what I wanted to do, or was it just a big trend at the time to go into finance, to really accomplish that banking career, and which is what all of my sort of fellow friends were doing. And I thought that is the right path for me at the time. And I think it sort of clicked. So after I've met my husband, and we met in Switzerland very spontaneously on a very spontaneous skiing trip, And it just happened so that he also lived in London and worked in London. Our offices at the time were just like a 5-minute walk from each other. And it was him who truly made me realize that, is it finance that I want to do? And I had that whole rebirth of creativity and reconnection with everything on a whole new level. And that is when there was a day when I remember speaking with him and saying, I saw that there is a drama school down the road, and there is currently an audition for sort of a 1-year advanced program where I could join the program and do it all in 1 year and explore everything that acting is all about. And it was something that I was always passionate about. You know, it was something that I always wanted to do, but never was brave enough. I felt that my parents won't be proud of me. I need to go into, finance and build my career from scratch. And it was my moment. So I auditioned, I got in, and I absolutely loved it. I secured an agent at the end. We had a wonderful showcase at the Trafalgar Square Studios. I did my absolute best and really had a brilliant time. And shortly after that, being on my creative path, I founded a jewellery company. It was actually with a friend of mine, Eleanor, who built the brand initially together with me. And to be honest, it was my first pregnancy that again turned everything in a different direction, but for a good reason. And together with the birth of Leon, the mother was born.
Like it should be. But I remember that was you became a mother in winter. Is that right? Do you remember?
No, it was actually in the summer.
It was in the summer. Okay, so it was much earlier than me.
It was.
I thought it was few months. So almost a year before me then.
Literally just a year before you.
Yeah. And I was writing to you to meet when I had my baby, and I remember you feeling quite overwhelmed being a first-time mother, and it was a lot to navigate. And obviously you had pictured one thing, like months before that I seen you acting in front of friends, and you were doing so amazingly.
Oh my God,
you were on that trajectory to success, and then life has its own turns and pivots. And then later in life, you became this incredible mother that I always turn to. And I wanted to talk about that transition from overwhelm and navigating, oh my God, I'm a mother now, what do I do? I even remember writing to you to meet, and you were like, I can't now, like I have a baby, like,
do not disturb.
Yeah, do not disturb. And I was thinking, shit, like I'm gonna have a baby,
I'm gonna have the same situation. Yeah. What's going on? Well, I have to say, when I was this banking career girl, I was thinking, I'd love to have lots of kids, and I'll probably end up having a nanny, and I'll continue building my career. It's we're in such a modern world that it's totally possible to combine both. It'll be great. The moment that little Leon was born, I realized that being a mother is actually something completely different to what I imagined. And that sense of responsibility, and I'm a very responsible person, so I could not delegate any of the things I was doing with him to anyone else. I had to be with him 24/7 and giving my absolute 100%. So I would say that primarily Leon, he was a very curious baby. So sleep was his absolute nightmare. And I think the lack of it was my absolute nightmare. And I just couldn't combine it all together because my mind was still, he was still in that pre-baby phase. He wasn't ready to cope with the whole new life that was in front of me. And I think it's also because I've never really had experience of having, holding children, changing nappies. I think it's very helpful when some women get a chance to, maybe babysit your siblings or help out with friends' babies, or even have people around you who just had kids.
We were one of the first.
We were one of the first.
Yeah.
And that's hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you really feel alone.
It's very isolating.
Exactly. I think also not having parents in the same country as as
and
you,
not even knowing how to navigate the country. Again, I think I turned to you very early, when Samuel was very young, like you were going to baby classes. I didn't know this existed, you know, and then you said it was the monkey music, was
exactly.
it?
Yes. Monkey music. And the swimming class in South
the
Kensington.
swimming
No, in
classes.
Kensington.
Yeah. So things like that, like it's not really in our culture, I guess, baby class. So we had to learn a whole lot of skills.
Absolutely.
But 6 months in, or maybe even sooner, you were already confident. And how did that process work for you? Because there are a lot of mothers still listening to us who are not yet there.
Absolutely. No, it's so important. And it would make me so happy if I could support or help anyone out there just to speed up that whole process of figuring it out and realizing how to manage that first year of being a mother. I think for me it was just the figuring out, you know, and the lack of sleep. You had so little time. It was such a little time when the baby was sleeping that you had a chance to even read up on books or ask your friends or regain that confidence, because you don't really speak to many people. You don't really have, you know, many play dates with other moms and their babies. At least it was like that for me. Of course, it was different with the second and third baby. But by then I had to figure it all out on my own. And I think I just had it in me. I figured out that I had to get out. And it would be so much fun to have these amazing memories with my little one, to take him out on a walk, to have a schedule, to start having a certain routine where you have breakfast together, you go to a baby class, you do some dancing and singing and blowing bubbles, and that's fine. And I think in those moments you're really present. You're not at home trying to entertain your baby and yourself and perhaps, you know, getting lost in that daily routine. You actually get out and you walk a lot. I remember how many times I walked, you know, with the baby, just how many kilometers I've walked with the baby, literally 10, 15 kilometers with the pram. I'd come home with a pram full of stuff from all the shops I went into. Exactly, all these baby things. So
I'm remembering now because, you know, it's a decade. I haven't been a mom of a baby in a long time, and I'm almost like, okay, I need to remember this. I need to do this again.
Exactly,
so
right? It's exactly.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
It's going to be all
It's
over
going to be
again.
amazing.
Do you remember the hardest moment in those early days? Was there like one particular one?
I think it's the figuring it out and coming out of that kind of anxious state, you know, of thinking, who am I? And how am I going to get through this? How can I have fun with my baby? How can I gain that confidence if I don't have any experience? And I think it's that time when you stop breastfeeding as a mother. I stopped when Leon was 9 months, I think. And I think your hormones also start to play a massive role, especially as a first-time mother. Hormones are all over the place. There's this natural instinct to protect, I had this incredible perfectionism in everything. Everything had to be super clean, sterile, hygienic. I think it also comes from our culture. We do like everything extremely clean when it comes to babies, and that's okay. But I think there should be a balance. And I think that made it hard. And another thing would be just reading and trusting everything that the author said in that book, regardless of when it was written and, you know, on the background of that author. And I would actually believe it and follow it rather than actually trying to trust your instincts and go for it. And rely on your mother instincts. They're there for a reason, and Mother Nature is very clever.
Very clever, yeah. But that takes time.
That takes time. Indeed.
And it's okay to feel anxious. I think we need to give ourselves permission also. It's so new for you. Just let that feeling, like, process it, let it be.
Exactly.
It's okay. And I found that I did not have that anxiety, to be honest. I was very, it came very easy to me, but I think I found it harder maybe in 6 or 9 months. It kind of hit me. Mm-hmm. And I found that women who were like you, who did experience anxiety and that adaptation early, they then the mother was born out of them and it stayed with them. So maybe it was a bit of a denial in me, and I was like, just keep going.
Yes.
And then it hit me.
Or it was
later.
like self-protecting mechanism, you know, it was kind of within you not to go that route and get anxious and overly worried, which I think worked really well because you've created a business at the same time and you were able to manage so much on such an amazing level.
Yeah, it was like definitely a coping mechanism.
It was definitely a coping mechanism too.
But with this one, I'm like, even if I'll feel, I don't know, postpartum depression or anxiety, let it be.
Yes.
So feel that for 3 months. Like
exactly.
And then something good is going to come out of it.
Absolutely. It's just nature. And
yeah, it's going to take a natural course. I had another question because you said, you know, finance, Lehman Brothers, LSE, Queen Mary. I mean, you achieved so much. And I remember finishing university just a few years after you. And I also went into banking, and I didn't find like that was for me. I also went into banking because everyone else did. There was very little self-reflection. But again, looking up to you, you know, I was thinking, look, like she's doing what she really like wants. And now in my life, again, I'm looking up to you, and I could probably allow myself not to work financially, which is because of my partner. But there is so much self-grind inside my head, like, can I stop? Am I allowed? Does it make me less? Does it make me more? So I really was hoping to get in your head and understand how was your thinking, because you could have any life you want, you know, for yourself with your background, but you chose to be a mother, which is so beautiful. But I want to know, how did you choose that?
I think when I was in banking, it was all about achieving targets. It was all about numbers. It was a world full of you know, it's a corporate world. It's full of masks and faces. And I think that's something that I learned at drama school, is that we as humans have this ability to adapt to different environments and to be different people in a way, according to the environment we are in. And that's absolutely okay. And that's how it has to be. But I felt that it's not really my environment. And I'm such a curious person. I think that's where my children actually get it from. Thinking about it now, I have so many passions, I have so many interests, and I am so grateful that I was able to squeeze in so many different things before getting pregnant. And that is something that allowed me to feel at peace while I was enjoying, you know, this whole phase of motherhood, and still am, knowing that I've done a lot and I can always go back to it. For example, if we take acting, I did a few plays in Zurich, which I really enjoyed, and that was when Alexander was just 2 years old. I remember putting him to sleep and running to my rehearsals, which were like an hour away, and loving it. Coming back home late, but feeling happy. Waking up early, but with a smile, because I'm doing so much, and I'm doing what makes me truly, truly happy. And it's really also about the quality you spend, quality of time you get to spend with your kids. And it's amazing if you're able to get to that balance.
It's really amazing. But in the beginning, that's now, I mean, Alexander is now how old?
He's going to be 8.
7. Yeah, wow, it goes so
goes so fast.
It's so cliche, but it goes so fast.
It does.
But in the beginning, you know, beginning, like when Leon was a baby, or when you were thinking maybe of having a second child, did you feel like you were enough? You were happy with yourself as a mom? Or did you have some doubts about what you were doing?
I definitely had doubts. I think as every mother would, who is committing and changing her lifestyle entirely from being a working girl. I mean, I also worked in as a finance broker in Mayfair. I worked in real estate. I did so many different things. And suddenly, here you are, you're at home, your environment changed, places you'd go to have changed. And that is hard. And I feel like it really took time, and it took a lot of thinking in my head to really get to where I am today, for which I'm grateful for beyond that words can explain, because it is motherhood that shaped me and made me the person I am today, and sort of built me as a whole. It taught me a lot about intuition. It taught me a lot about love, connections, about being present and the importance of being present with your children. It's really incredible. It's so easy to say, just be present, but it works. And there were so many beautiful moments in my life with my kids where I realized, oh my goodness, I'm so happy I'm here right now in this moment because this is magical. It gives me shivers. If I was to delegate these little moments, even just getting them ready in the morning and brushing their teeth and before running off to, before dropping them off to schools and nursery and running into my meetings, it would still give me so much joy at the beginning of the day to have those moments. So I think it's really learning how to manifest and imagine your future slightly ahead of yourself, and then going back in time and being present in your day. So planning is super important, looking into the future, visualizing how you imagine your days to be, and who do you want to be, and how do you imagine your children to be like, let's say. Not to shape them, but just to give them support and understanding and guidance.
Fantastic. Start with the end in mind and then work backwards.
Exactly.
You talk a lot about being rather than doing on Instagram. Mm-hmm. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
About presence?
Yeah.
Well, definitely. I think that's something that I went into slightly just now, and I would love to expand on it. For example, there was a beautiful moment I had recently with my little Alexander, who is 7. And I came spontaneously to the school. I had to drop something off for Leon. And Alexander didn't expect me to be there. So it was right in the middle of the day. And I find him on his lunch break outside. And he runs to me with open arms and gives me the biggest hug. And then we have that little moment together. And then I say, Alexander, I really need to go. It's time to feed Amelia. She was with me. We just came to drop something off. But I'll be back to pick you up. Don't you worry. And then spontaneously, he started crying. He started crying so deeply that it made me feel confused because it was in front of everybody. Your child is screaming. And I think as a first-time mom, I would have panicked. I would have said, oh my goodness, you're such a big boy. Why are you crying? What's going on? I'll be back in 2 hours. Don't you worry. And because I already knew, there's something going on. And children, it is their way of showing their emotions when they're crying without words. It's us logical adults who think, why are you not telling me what's going on? But it is their way of communicating. They're not able to tell us what's going on. And I said to him in that moment, Alexander, let's go inside. Let's sit down by the reception on the sofa and just talk a little bit. And he did. And we hugged each other. We sat down. And it was the longest hug of our lives. It was probably like 5 minutes or more, just hugging and being present. And then he lets go and he says, Mommy, I love you so much. What are your plans now? And I said, well, I'm going to go to feed Amelia. He's like, why don't you go to a nearby restaurant that just opened so you can let me know how it was? And then come to pick me up, okay? And I said, okay. And he stood up and had this confident face on him and just left happily, proudly, and probably had such a great day. It only took 5 minutes. And I think it's all about that moment of being present rather than being efficient.
That's something I'm working a lot on, efficiency.
It's not easy.
In everything, even like cooking or cleaning or, even like your bedtime routine, right? For ourselves. It used to be like, I'm going to do all at the same time to be efficient. And I'm like, no, life is too precious to go through it like that. And
it's not easy because our lives are so busy these days with all the information and everything else that we have going on. I think it's the focus. Really the focus on the most important things that we would like to focus on, that we need to focus on. It's literally just sitting down and thinking, what is important to me and how am I going to battle moments of tears with children or anything else.
And maybe it's doing less. Like you don't have to do it all.
No.
But it's really
it's
focusing
prioritizing. And really planning it and thinking, is it okay, this schedule? Am I going to handle it well, or is it too much?
I think we have some questions down the line, but maybe since you mentioned it now, it's good to get, how do you plan your week? You have 3 children, maybe mention their ages as well. And I'm sure it's a busy schedule.
Yes.
How do you look at your week? How do you go about, managing they all have their own interests. They're all very individualistic children, different ages.
They really are. And they're all so different. It's amazing how, they obviously they come from the same family, but they all have their uniqueness about them and individuality, like you mentioned. So my oldest is 10 years old, and his name is Leon, and he's my first. He's the one who made me the mother I am. And he often jokes with me and says, "Oh, I trained you to become." And I'm like, you know what? You're probably right. You are right. And my son Alexander, he's 7 years old. Also, sorry, I forgot to mention. So Leon is a fantastic golfer. He grew up with golf. My background is. My family was always into golf, and I was almost forced to play golf as a child, to be honest. I didn't understand the game back in the day, and I wish I did, because now I obviously play with the family, and I really enjoyed. I wish I had more time to go on the course and spend time, but still, it's really, really enjoyable. And Leon is doing really well, and it's his passion, and I don't have to force him in our life.
Driven.
He is so driven. He found his thing, and he's very passionate about it. And then we have little Alexander, who is wildly creative, he has a much slower pace. So if Leon is extremely logical, mathematical, very quick, he gets up very early in the morning, he's extremely responsible, gets his homework done without any help. I've never had to sit down with him and do his homework. He was always spot on with his time, extremely responsible. And Alexander is very slow, relaxed, just likes to take it easy in life. And that's amazing, because given that he's so quiet, there is still so much wisdom that often comes out of him. He's also extremely good in mathematics, but he has this creative, very intuitive side to him.
He's also a chef.
He's also a chef, exactly.
Yes.
And that's not just like, I want to be a pilot, I want to be a policeman. It's been his passion for many years. I think it's been about 5 years that Alexander would sit in restaurants and just watch them cook for hours and hours. He'd refuse to eat, and he'd be fascinated. So we cook at home all the time. I think it especially started during COVID, when I started my cooking blog, and I was cooking all day long. People used to write to me, "Arina, are you just like in the kitchen all day?" And I'm like, yes, I think I am. And that was the time when Alexander got even more passionate about cooking. So we've got Chef Alexander, and then we've got little Amelia. Amelia is 3 years old. She's the sweetest little girl. I absolutely adore her. And I would say it's her amazing energy. It's like my mini-me, to be honest. That's what people tell me, at least. Just because of amount of things she wants to get done in a day. She's always up for things, always happy, full of energy, very giggly and loud.
She's so cute and so pretty.
Thank you so much.
So pretty. And she does forest school.
She's a girly girl. She does forest school.
Yeah. Girly, but she
girly,
does forest
but
school.
I think with Amelia, I did everything perfectly right, because I was really focused by then, and I knew exactly what I would love for her to have. So if it's forest, it's, we commit to it. It's half a day every Friday, and she loves it. And it's...
You said you'd done everything perfect. What does it mean?
I think perfectly in how I envision it. So perfectly, not to say somebody else is not doing it perfectly. I think by perfectly, I mean that I've really accomplished what I would love for her to have in life. And obviously, not just because I'm doing it on her behalf, but also just intuitively seeing how she responds to these activities that bring her to, and just the time we'd spend together. She loves it, and that's important. And that's why we've committed to all these different things, a variety of them. And I think it's amazing.
Yeah, I asked you the other day, how did you choose clubs? And that's my question. So we look at your week.
Yes.
I don't know, when is it? Sunday, Monday? When do you plan your week ahead? And how does that look like?
So we plan the whole term every semester, every school semester, which is twice per year. And that is when a whole set of classes, activities, tournaments for Leon really kicks in and starts. That's when we receive all the schedules, and all of that initially goes into the diary. And we sit down with my husband and we create that schedule. We have shared calendars. We know what's going on. We're fully aware. So even though it's mostly me running through all of these activities, my husband always knows where we are, and he's sort of there for emergency runs. If he's in Zurich, he's not traveling, then there have been occasions where I said, "Help me, I'm running late." Not often, because I'm not allowed to take his time in his busy schedule that he already has. But it's been it worked.
And apart from activities, there are birthdays, birthday gifts, dentist appointments, doctor appointments. I made a list because I don't even remember all the things we need to do as mothers.
So many things we need to think of.
And
it's obviously 3 individual lives of 3 little people that you have to be able to organize and keep up with. There are doctor's appointments, like you said, dentist appointments, birthday parties, homeworks, exams, tests, tournaments, spelling tests, reading.
Art projects,
my goodness. Art projects that parents need to participate and everything else.
And is that all on you, or do you have
It's all on me.
It's all on you.
It's all on me. All of the things that I've mentioned. It's especially the driving. I drive around 700 kilometers a week, just for primarily kids' activities. I refuel every Monday. It's full tank, and I'm ready to go. And of course, I can't say that I love the driving part, but it is what it is. It is what I committed to, and I see how much it benefits my kids, how excited they are about meeting new friends and gaining all of these amazing new skills.
And then you can listen to my podcast.
Exactly. I was just about to say, I listen to podcasts. I learn German in the car. We sing songs with Amelia. Amelia does not sit in the car without her playlist. It's on repeat. For some reason, it's a Russian Antoshka, which I can't explain to you why. But we have it on repeat for about 2 years every morning. And everyone who's in the car with me in the morning by chance is literally laughing because Amelia is like, "I want Antoshka." I was like, all right.
So your children speak 3 languages as well, right?
They do.
And how do, my son also speaks 3 languages. I find it's easy when they're little, but at certain age, it's a huge commitment from parents. What would be your advice on keeping the languages in the family?
It's a good question. And that's something that hasn't always been easy, actually. I have to say that Leon speaks the best Russian. He writes in Russian. He can write essays in Russian. He reads in Russian. He has a great humor also in Russian, which is just fun. And I can see that he's very passionate about the language and culture and everything else. So that's great. That's accomplished. But even though he has a weekly Russian school, and as well as Alexander and Amelia, that keeps it going. But if we look at Alexander and Amelia, it's hard. It's so hard because at school, and they go to a bilingual school, it's an English-German school, they speak in English and German. So, of course, we have that mutual family language, which I think is also important. And they stick to it. That's their life. And even though I would speak with them, every time I'd pick them up, I'd speak with them in Russian, and I'd really do my best. It's not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy.
I have one, so I think it's easier because I only speak to him. If he had siblings, he would switch the language.
Absolutely, that was the hard part.
Yeah.
And Alexander is not a fan of different languages. For him, it's hard. Leon was good. He was always very good and quick. Alexander needs a bit more time, and that's okay. We still keep going. The important thing I would say is not to give up. It's so easy. It would have been so easy for me to say, Alexander's not good with languages, to put him in that category, which we should never do, because kids change so much. It's really amazing. I always thought he's not a mathematical type of personality, and he is so good in mathematics.
I agree with you so much,
right?
Because I always thought Samuel was not. Sorry, Samuel. He gets so upset when he hears that. I'm really sorry, Sam. But I always thought he was not good at sports naturally.
Yes.
But first of all, I didn't tell him that. Now I did. Now he knows. So sorry, Sam. But I never put that expectation or that bias or that limitation on him.
Yes.
I was like, just keep going.
It's
just
important.
have fun, just enjoy, like, just, it's for you to be with friends. And you know what, this year he's been amazing, like, without the pressure of being amazing. And I was like, I'm so glad I didn't give up when he was 4 and say just do music or just do language.
Absolutely, because things change.
Yeah.
And I think the same happens with the food that kids eat. Going into nutrition a little bit, it's also been a passion of mine, and I've always encouraged healthy eating, you know. And I remember Amelia, for example, hating avocados and broccoli at certain phase, and it would have been so easy for me to just take it away and never introduce it again. And instead, I increased the amounts of broccoli on the table. And the trick is to actually start with veggies. So you put, while you're cooking, put all the veggies on the table, all the healthy things.
Yeah.
They are starving, they will eat it. You know, and it's crunchy and it's juicy, make it sound exciting, come over and be like, oh, can I have it all? They get a bit stingy. You know, I would even put
Not
things like kohlrabi or raw fennel. You know, it's delicious. And that's why I think my kids like it. It's just that
I read a
repetitiveness.
rule somewhere, but I did not invent it. But I was like, I read it somewhere and I started doing it with Samuel when he was very little. If you don't want to eat it, just try it. Like, you have to try everything on your plate. You don't have to eat it, you don't have to like it, but you have to try it. And I'm very lucky, like, he eats everything. We never had a problem with...
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Yes, because I know a lot of people struggle, and I think that's really, really hard.
And it becomes a huge struggle because you eat 3-4 times a day, you know? Then it's like a battle you take
and especially
upon yourself.
cooking for 3. If you start cooking individual meals, we've obviously had to adopt a different diet for Leon. So we've had to sort of switch to gluten-free. I'll mention that in a little bit.
Yes.
But it's not easy to sort of, you know, meet different requirements and wishes.
You have 4 people living in your household.
Absolutely.
You are like the administrator, the cook, the
Absolutely.
driver. Do you feel seen for all that work? Do you feel appreciated?
There's definitely a lot of silent work that goes on behind the scenes in every mother's house, especially those who do decide to stay at home and commit to motherhood. There is so much going on, and I often feel that I'm only doing stuff for the kids or for the house or for my husband all day long and nothing for myself. And I think it was a point in time where I realized, well, you know, this is my job. And I am basically a manager, and I'm running an operation here, a corporation, which requires so much skill in order to do it well, in order to be able to, I mean, Leon, we've just booked 16 flights for the next year just to commit to Leon's tournaments. And even though he's so young and so little, we obviously also enjoy it. It's also part of our travel plan, so all of our holidays are shaped around his tournaments, but it does require so much work. And I often feel that I'm this spreadsheet, you know,
You are.
that gets amended throughout the day and edited, and certain things get deleted and shifted as plans change. But going back to your question, I think it's the importance of realizing that breaks are important, and just scheduling ahead of time. So I would sit down in the evenings. It would be usually my husband who would take the kids up to read the book. So we would get them ready for bed, and then he's the one who really enjoys reading. And that's lovely. I think it's really, really important because obviously they don't see him throughout the day, and it gives them that opportunity to bond and have time together. And I get to plan. I get to go through all my emails because I obviously been driving all day and running around with the kids. And I get to plan the day ahead and figure out where is there a space for me time, for my work, for Lilu Void, for my emails, for my meetings, or just a simple mama time that we all need sometimes.
Quick pause. If you're enjoying this conversation with Arina, take a second to follow or subscribe wherever you're listening. It really helps us keep bringing you these honest conversations that rarely happen but really matter. Now, back to it. I mean, look at you. You look fantastic. Mother of 3, you know. You just flew in here. You look fabulous. And you had 3 C-sections, is that right?
I
Which
did.
is, I think, another silent thing. People,
Absolutely.
it's a huge load
People
on the body.
underestimate.
It's an operation.
It's a huge operation.
It's a huge operation. So how do you recover from an operation like this? 3 times.
Absolutely.
And how do you take care of yourself?
I think operations definitely did not help, right? With becoming a mother for the first time and having stitches and just taking time. You really have to take your time to heal properly. It's not that you can just stand up and run and off you go to monkey music. No. There's so much more to it. I won't go into detail, but it's hard. It's very hard on women. Not many people talk about it. It's very private, this information, for some reason.
Well, many women actually, and now that I live in Brazil, 80% of women choose C-section because they were told it's the easier way.
Isn't
You
that
schedule a
amazing?
date, you go in, you go out, 2 hours, you're done. I'm like, and what about after?
It's a huge industry. It's a huge business because it's convenient. If you, of course, there are, of course, many cases where women cannot have natural birth. That's absolutely understandable. And thank God there are these operations.
Of course, because that can save your life and life of the baby.
Exactly. Just like it happened in my case, I had a big dream to, give natural birth and to have this beautiful natural birth without any epidurals or anything else. And of course, it went completely the wrong way. After 24 hours, I was told, listen, darling, it's C-section time. And the way I looked at my obstetrician, he said, I thought you're going to kill me.
I understand that.
But I think it's just taking time and trusting the process. Your body just produced a human and you've been cut open. And it is okay. You're doing more than enough. It is okay to just take it easy. Do not rush. Do not think, you're missing something. Do not look at other people. Just enjoy, be present, and enjoy that precious time that you have with the baby.
And how do you take care of yourself? Not just enjoy. How do you heal? How do you bounce back into the shape? Because we all want to look great.
Of course,
it's important. Yeah, I also think to feel mentally well, you want to look physically well. Absolutely. That doesn't mean skinny. It means whatever that is.
It adds so much to your day. If you feel strong and healthy in your body, it's almost like a great day guaranteed, isn't it, for us women?
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's a completely different feeling.
So what do you do to feel that
What
way?
do I do?
Yes.
I would say I've got my own little routines. I also eat healthily. I think it's so important to just eliminate all the junk and to go into a little course in nutrition and learn as much as possible about all the benefits that are out there. Our immune system is located in our gut primarily, and it's all about that healthy gut, healthy bacteria, healthy mind, healthy body that are, when combined together in a good and balanced way, produces amazing results. And you really feel good, you feel strong. Of course, there's probably some genetics to it. It's not probably, but there are definitely some genetics because I actually love to eat my food. I'm not the one
I
to
love
diet.
to eat my food. Yeah.
I love food. And my husband would confirm this because I often eat more than he does. And I think it's having that fast metabolism that helped me bounce back really, really quickly, which again is probably genetic, but also with my passion for healthy meals. And also my energy that I have inside me that makes me run around all day and burn off those calories, which I recently, ate and got.
But you say you eat a lot, but you don't eat processed foods. You don't eat, you eat a lot of food
Healthy,
that nurture you.
Exactly.
That's very different than eating lots of chocolate, let's
Absolutely.
say, definitely. So I
But
think
that said, there are certain cheat foods. For example, I'd love a pizza that we'd share as a family, even though, it's not exactly the most natural thing. But, it's bread, it's tomato sauce, it's cheese, it's olives.
real food.
Real food.
Real
Homemade.
food.
Real food. And if it's bread, it would be sourdough bread and so on. Just important to choose and pick your healthy habits and commit to them.
Committing, I think, is very important. It's kind of time put in over, rather than doing this HIIT class once a week. Like find what works for you.
I agree.
And just integrate it into your lifestyle.
Just sort of keeping it organized, right? And putting it in a diary. And manifesting. I can't highlight the importance of manifestation. I know it's been a big topic in recent years.
It works.
But it works. And there is something so simple about just setting your mind to something, whether it's writing down your goals, your passions, and how you visualize your life, in which colors. Like, describe it as colorful as possible in every little detail. How do you want, what are your wishes for your children? What are your ambitions for yourself? Do you want to be a mother? Do you want to be a career girl? Do you want to be both? And think of ways of achieving them. Think of what's missing in your life. Is there something that is missing? Is there something you always wanted to do but never had time for? And if there is, make time for it. Look at the diary. I think as you are doing this fantastic podcast, I think that's something that you've done really, really well, and you've committed, and I'm so proud.
Thank you. It is a big commitment, time, energy, and I think as moms, whatever we do, at least in my head, and I think a few speakers also said the same, that means taking time from your family. Yeah. So for us, it really needs to be worth it.
Absolutely.
We wouldn't do something that's not. So it's questioning, like, do I really want it? Like you said, not because my mom is going to be proud of me. Like you said, the acting course, not because my husband wants it. Not what is going to make me happy.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's a big question to ask yourself.
Finding your true self and your ability to speak from the heart, not because you've learned something and, or you've just done something that you don't really enjoy, but you really have to. So you deliver some, it's not you, and it will not really work in comparison to a person who loves what they're doing and is speaking the truth. Because
you just push through and you make that time, like you said,
Absolutely.
Because none of us have time. So to make time, it needs to be really about you. You obviously talked about your individual children and, the schedules. We covered a lot today, but I don't know your children personally so well. But what I see from Instagram and from talking to you, they are hungry for knowledge. They are humble and they are ambitious. I mean, 16 flights. Like not every 10-year-old is going to do that. What's the recipe for that? Hungry, humble, ambitious children?
I think it doesn't come without the support of my husband in general, and the whole base that we've created as a family. I feel that what we've done together with Philip is an amazing team. We are friends, we're best friends, we rely on each other, we support each other, we listen to each other, we love each other, and we talk a lot about love. We talk a lot about kindness and gratitude. We teach our children to pray, to think ahead of the day, to think about, at the end of the day, I often ask my kids, especially the boys, obviously they're older so they can really understand the meaning behind this question, but how was your day? What were you grateful for? What was was there something that upset you, or somebody who said something that you didn't like? And you just talk through it, and it's incredible how much it helps. It also creates it only takes a few minutes, doesn't it? And it creates this incredible bond between you and your child, and trust that then gives this amazing base for future success. They believe in themselves, they grow up feeling confident, they feel that they have a home and parents they can trust, not just on the level of child and parent, but on a level of friendship. And I think that is so important to have and be able to build this harmony based on love and respect. And there are so many amazing achievements, I think, that could come because of that.
That's so wonderful. We also reflect on the day, although I find that gratitude is something I'm still teaching my child. It's not a natural thing that comes to him. But we try to look out for these things.
Because
and
there's so little.
Yeah. But I'm hopeful, just like we talked about nutrition and sports and languages, I'll keep going until he's 20, because I know it's going to sink in. Like maybe today he's not grateful, maybe today he's upset, but this is still grinding in his mind to look out for these things.
Absolutely. It's just like we mentioned before. I think it's repetition and giving examples and really sitting down and sort of just going down to his level, because only little. So they love when a parent is kind of, when we talk eye to eye, and I often sort of sit down. Physically, actually. I go down on my knees and I look at them, and that is when they feel a connection. And look into their eyes and really explain things. I think talking to our kids is really, really underestimated. Communication is vital. Listening to them and talking and explaining every silly thing out there really helps. We think
they need to process a whole giant world,
absolutely.
right?
So we would think it's all logical and easy and don't you understand? But no, they really don't. They need
I wish somebody still
guidance.
did it for me. That's why whenever I see you with your children, I always write you, can you adopt me? Right? I always do that.
I love that.
Because I'm like, I need someone.
It makes me laugh so much. And thank you so much for
But because I'm like, I need this parenting. I need this parenting in my life. I'm 30-something years old. But, I'm still navigating this world. How can we expect a 4-year-old to get it all?
No, it's true. And it's something my mother actually told me. I mean, thank you so much, by the way, for all the warm words that you're saying. Because it's just it's so rewarding to hear all these words. We often get so sort of rewarded as parents, as mothers, and I think it's really amazing to have that support.
I see you, Yeah. I think I see all the hard work that you do. I wanted to talk a little bit about Leon. You touched that you switched to gluten-free diet. Yes, but I think that's something, when I see it on Instagram, I was like, oh my God, like how can it be? I had no knowledge about this. I actually am not sure I'm pronouncing it correctly.
Vasculitis, exactly.
Could you tell us what happened, what is it, and how did you cope with it?
Absolutely. No, thank you for saying that. It was such a difficult year for our family. Vasculitis is an autoimmune disease, and it came absolutely out of nowhere. Leon, I always said, has the strongest immune system out of all of us. He was hardly ever sick. I don't remember the last time until this year that we had to go to a pediatrician. I think it's been maybe 6-7 years, and he was never ill, and perhaps that was the issue. Perhaps his immune system was overly strong, and I heard that exists, and overly stimulated. So what happened is that he had a flu in January, a very strong flu. I think these days the flus are just on another level and really hit people hard. He had a very strong fever, and it a few days later, as he recovered, he suddenly came home and said, "Mummy, my tummy is hurting. And my feet are itching. Look at all the spots I have." And I was like, oh my goodness. So I had the knowledge on, checking and doing a glass test, what's called, to make sure that it's not meningitis. And you press on the spot, and if it disappears, it's not meningitis. And if it doesn't disappear, it's meningitis. And, we don't talk about all these other autoimmune diseases that have the same effect. We only think of meningitis, and that's the information we get given in the medical leaflets. And I pressed it didn't disappear. And I pressed again, and it didn't disappear. And I was thinking, oh my goodness. Leon is fully vaccinated. I was, literally scrolling through my mind thinking, what is going on? What have we done? And after going to the doctor, it was confirmed that it's something called vasculitis, and it is basically a body's inflammatory response, and your own body starts to attack your own cells, So your skin gets affected, your organs can get affected. You get something called purpura, which are these raised bubbly spots that bleed and pop and take forever to go away. And not only that, he had it on his skin, all over his legs, covered, absolutely covered. It also attacked his intestines. And the pain that he went through was horrible, beyond words explainable. It was really hell to see your child suffer, to have something so rare. I think it's 20 out of 100,000 children that get it every year. And not many doctors actually have seen cases with vasculitis. And you start researching helplessly as a mother, day and night, researching doctors worldwide, researching information available on these cases, and thinking, how can I help my child? He's screaming from pain. And that is the time when, we've started to look at ways of easing the pain. We were at the emergency unit 9 times, once driven by the ambulance. That was our first experience, and my personal first experience at using an ambulance, because he started to throw up blood, and it lasted hours, and it was very, very scary. And it was only paracetamol that you're allowed to give. And there's only so much paracetamol that a little body can take, or anybody can take. So once the paracetamol wears out, what do? You're not allowed to give another dose, of course. And anyway, I'm so naturopathic in my ways of treating my children and looking after them, that we don't even have medication at home. So this was already painful enough to just give him packs of paracetamol throughout the week. And it just wouldn't help. So we started doing certain frequency music, healing music that really, really helped. Hot pillows to put on his tummy at night, and you'd just be running up and down the stairs at night, trying to find ways of stopping this pain. And eventually, it was steroids that he had to take, which is also painful enough to do. Obviously, it's a hormonal therapy. But it helped. It helped to suppress the immune system. And while the disease was activated, it helped to ease the symptoms and ease the pain and reduce the amount of vasculitis episodes that he had.
I don't wish this to any child or any parent. But, when I seen this, I was like, to all the people, like, for it to happen to you, the vegetables, like, I'm sure
everything.
Your children never ate in McDonald's, probably. No. Neither. Actually, mine has once, but like, it's like you're doing everything right. It felt so injustice. Like, I was angry with the universe. I felt really angry. I'm too hormonal for this conversation. But then you kept positive as well. I think throughout this, Leon, you showed up on camera and he did the drawings. The boy with the spots I seen. So do you want to tell about that?
What was really amazing is that, we also, I think, have to be really careful of our wishes. And perhaps my manifesting really works. And there was one wish that I think, to be honest, it's a very common mother wish. It's not just me who would think that way. But I remember thinking, oh my goodness, Leon's schedule is getting so busy with golf. I should spend more time with him. He often asks to play Monopoly in his spare time. And because I'm running around with the other two, I often say, oh, wait a minute. Yes, we'll play in a minute. Let me just finish cooking, or let me just finish something. Later. And what happened now? Our bond has grown on a whole new level. We played Monopoly almost daily. We played Scrabble. We've connected. We've hugged all night. We've been through this crazy experience together of just a mother and son supporting each other day and night. And him seeing me fight for him and find solutions of how to ease this disease, which, is, to be honest, it's still ongoing. We're reducing steroids. He has scars all over his legs. But at the same time, it was amazing to see his personality, because in all of this time, what he's been doing is finding ways of being successful, of still doing stuff. So he rejoined his chess tournaments. He came first, in many of them. During those weeks that he went to school, and by the way, the school has been so supportive. He's received so many postcards from all of his best friends with all these sweet drawings and saying, Leon, we love you, we miss you, come back. And on those days that he did go to school, he started a company with a few other children, and they've actually presented to the headmaster the other week. And it is a simple company of producing T-shirts with using AI. So whenever you sell to somebody, you use their image, which gets converted into a character, which then gets printed. And the T-shirts are of fantastic organic quality, best quality I've seen. And anyway, they wrote out a business plan. They wrote out everything. How much is it going to cost? How much are they going to give to charity, to the kids' hospital? To just so much emerged out of this experience. And not to say that I would want it, but it's just to say how incredible Leon is, and how strong and kind and ambitious. And
I mean, it says a lot about you as well. You know, I'm here sitting and crying, and you're like telling me all the positive things that came out of it. So I guess it tells a lot about you and how you see the world. And
thank you so much.
That's what he gets.
I'm really trying hard not to say. If I start crying, I won't stop.
And how was your support network in that time? Like, who supported you?
I think it's definitely the community of friends. Even my little community on Instagram. I was obviously very hesitant to share something like that, and I it's not everyone who would understand the whole sharing part behind it. But I think after a month of this absolute nightmare, and me disappearing, and obviously people started to notice, she's not available anymore, or she's not sharing anything. Also my close friends and family, and I shared it on Instagram, and I've received hundreds and hundreds of messages with tips, with support, with so much kindness, that it actually helped a lot. And I'm so grateful to all of these people. Every one of them contributed to us actually surviving this period. It still feels like a bad dream, and it is not without a support of friends and family and the school and all of Leon's friends and everybody else that really made us survive all of that. And it just shows the importance of having the right people and support group around you,
which you've built over the years as well, and that are a reflection of your decisions. I was grateful to you for sharing on Instagram, because I think it's so brave. As moms, we try to keep the perfect picture, and it's so important to know that, moms are dealing with a lot. Like, it's good to have that. I'm very sorry it happened to you, but if it happens to me now, at least I'll know what it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, you wrote, strong autoimmune system, ibuprofen, flu.
Absolutely.
I didn't even know about meningitis.
Also,
I didn't even know about this. Like, and now I'm like, okay, I feel like I've been equipped with knowledge that I wouldn't otherwise have.
Now, there is so much that I learned about the disease, and overstimulating the immune system can also be dangerous. I tried my best during the flu. So, for example, we gave some extra vitamin C, we gave echinacea to the children, thinking that it would support and boost their immune system in the right way, but perhaps that was wrong. Perhaps for certain people, you have to watch out. If they already have a strong immune system that is already fighting hard, you could overstimulate. And you never know if, there are not enough case studies to prove it on a medical, level. Nobody would really listen to me. But I think it's something to watch out for.
And that's what we need to know as moms, like things to watch out for, things to look out for, things to know that can be happening to you. I mean, we still don't know we are not doctors, we are not teachers, we are not trained professionals, we're just people trying to do our best.
Absolutely. And even going back to ibuprofen, when I gave it to lower the fever, it jumped so quickly down that really surprised me. So you go from 41, which was very high, to 34. So if I was 36.6, he would be 34, and that lasted for some period. And then it would shoot back up again. And then I would give it again thinking, it's reaching 42. This is dangerous. I need to, give another dose of ibuprofen. And I think a lot of people are now telling me, if you give something such as fever-reducing medication, use paracetamol, because ibuprofen has this anti-inflammatory side of it, which helps to reduce inflammation and has more side effects. So, there's even one study, I think, that's confirmed another child who had ibuprofen and then developed vasculitis. So
and
I don't want to speak against.
There will be like 100,000 children who will take ibuprofen and nothing will happen. But
absolutely, and it saves probably so many, children with high temperatures. But then if it
does happen to my child, at least I'll know what's happening, And I think it's really important to add that transparency.
Absolutely. Every medication has side effects and leaflets, and it's important to just acknowledge it. The risks again. And thank you.
Let's hope it goes away.
Absolutely, we pray and pray that it finally leaves him and allows him to just enjoy. He's such an incredible little man. I'm so proud of him, and it's horrible.
Can I ask you some more questions about you and Philip? Yeah,
of course.
So 3 children, very busy life for your husband Philip. I mean, he's been growing in his career. You've been moving countries. You've been doing a lot. How do you stay best friends? You said a team, lovers. How do you keep that connection going?
Absolutely.
And you've been married for many years.
Absolutely. Yeah. We met back in 2009. Got married 2012. So we've grown together, and I've seen Philip grow. And first of all, I'm extremely proud of him because of what he's built. Is without the help of his parents. Of course, the parents had the opportunity to, he comes from a good family, so he had great education. He also went to LSE, and then I saw him flourish and become the man he is today. And it is not also without his support that we have this relationship. He is truly a remarkable man. He's an incredible father and an amazing role model to our children. I think it's a lot to do with the moments that he shares and he does, actions he takes in front of our kids, from bringing flowers to always giving a kiss good morning or good night, or just showing that love and respect and that feeling of unity in front of our kids. And that is hopefully something that they will take for their lives and their families.
And just the two of you, do you go on date nights? Do you take vacations, just adults?
Yes, we do actually. We do. I mean, this year we actually just forgot about our really close friend's 40th birthday. We completely disconnected from life. We're actually really sad about it because we've disconnected from, the whole life. And but that's okay. I mean, the important thing is that Leon really recovers. But usually when everybody is healthy and happy, we try to take time off. We maybe would fly away for a weekend, and then both of our grandmas would come and watch the kids, or have a housekeeper there, and just create that safe and secure environment for us to really feel comfortable, to trust the people, know that the kids are having a good time, and we can also just disconnect, travel for just a night or two, or just go for dinner. It's so important. I mean, just having adult conversations in peace without anyone interrupting, discussing things and being together.
How often does that happen?
Ooh, I mean, this year, not much, not very often. But I think we once went to Bad Ragaz for a weekend, and that was right at the beginning of Leon's disease, when we actually didn't know the severity of it. We didn't know how serious it is. And he was doing okay in the beginning. We managed to get away for one night, and we went to these thermal baths and so on. It was lovely, but not much since then. But I think it's very important to disconnect and to have that time with your partner and to keep that, friendship going. Otherwise, you just get lost in your routines.
You grow apart.
You grow apart, you start doing your own thing, your husband is traveling all the time, and he needs to continue to admire you and fall in love with you all over and over again. See that femininity that he knows, and he loves, and beauty, and to really connect again.
And how do you keep that femininity and beauty for him? Because if I had 3 children, in the end of the day, driving 700 kilometers
it's not the most glamorous
I would not
image.
be very feminine. You would find me in my biggest pajamas, probably eating a burger, with a green mask and my hair up. So
I think you're right. It's not the most glamorous look of all to be that mama on the go, the driver. But I think it's all down to us. I think it's, really committing to your morning routine, to making sure you're ready to start the day and in the right clothes. It could be comfortable, it could be leggings, but it has to be the outfit that you feel really good in. You feel confident, you like the way you look in the mirror, and I feel like the rest of the day will just flow because you are confident.
We have an episode coming out with a very famous stylist, and she said exactly what you said. God. Tiffany Darg is her name. So here you go. Amazing. I'm working on that. I have moments in my life when I'm, look like this, and then it will slip away, and then I elevate myself back to
Absolutely.
To my own standard in the first place, not
Yeah.
for my men, in the first place for me, but yeah.
You know, and it's yesterday I had actually, just before I flew in, I had a very, very busy mama day with my kids, as I do, and I was picking up my daughter from a theatre group, and I ran in, and there's always a mom sitting there at that stage. I think she's waiting for her child to finish his class, and I could feel that she's watching me while I'm picking up Amelia and getting her ready and changing her shoes and so on, and suddenly she just says to me, "You always look so beautiful. And your energy is amazing. You flew in here like a fairy." I just wanted to say that to you because I'm always, you know, so impressed.
So nice.
And that's so nice. And I look at her, and I was just in my jeans and T-shirt, but, you know, I maybe styled it with a little belt or like a cool pullover on top, maybe some sunglasses. Not much effort, but easygoing, comfortable. And people notice it, you know. And I'm grateful that she said something, because often people don't. And you know, and so it's so nice.
Famous stylist said,
right.
And I know everything you do is like exactly like she said. It's not so much about what you wear.
Right.
I'm not sure I'm using the same word she said, but she said it's about putting intention in what you wear. It's not even what you wear, but it's like that you thought about what you're, and that's gonna change your outfit. You know, like just
to think about it.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because so often we just throw something out of the closet without even...
Absolutely. And I wasn't always into fashion, to be honest. It's all about focusing your mind on something and changing it or improving it. That really, really helps, that you actually put some effort and...
The small things.
You know, there's so many inspirational fashion influences out there. It's so cool these days to be able to create outfits.
And it doesn't have to be expensive.
No, it doesn't have to be expensive. There's
and
so
it
many
can
cool
be
high street
like
pieces.
I said to you, it can be long lasting. Like I'm literally looking at your IG and ordering dresses for the summer that will go beyond, like that will fit me through stages of my life. Closing questions. If you could give one message to a mother who is in survival mode, you know, we all been there, what would it be?
I would say, don't rush. Stay present as much as possible. I know it's easy to say and very difficult to do, but you're doing more than enough. More than enough. You are already an absolute universe, you know, and it's incredible of what you've achieved, what you've done, and just immerse yourself in it, because it goes so fast, so fast. And it's so beautiful once you suddenly let go of all your kind of wishes and things for yourself. Just for that moment, it will pass and you will have time. It's just try to enjoy it. Just try to stay present and really, you know, speak with your baby, even if it doesn't speak, and try to enjoy every single moment. And it will pay off. And you will have the most amazing memories to carry with you. And there will be time for everything else.
There will be time for everything else. Businesses, anything. Creative projects, anything.
Exactly.
That's a great piece of advice. I'll remember it when my baby's screaming through the whole night.
It's beautiful. If you would be able to really immerse yourself, I think...
I'll try.
I went through different experiences, and I think that is one tip I'd give to new moms. Tip.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
It was so great.
It was amazing. I really enjoyed it.
If you enjoyed this conversation with Arina, please consider sharing it with a friend who might need a reminder that you don't have to do it all to be doing enough. You can follow Arina at monarina_stories and check out her brand at Lilu Vigo on Instagram. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on Do Not Disturb.